now tuning in to the Going North podcast with your host, bestselling author, professional speaker, and member of the John Maxwell team, Dominic Dom Brightman. And every Monday and Thursday, we're going to hear the voice of a different author sharing their gifts, stories, and expertise to help you charge forward in life. Now let's get on with the show. And today on the Going North podcast, we're bringing some super special, awesome humans from around the globe. Today's no different. Heck, who am I kidding? Today's a special occasion because I got to thank Mr. Eminem himself, Mr. Mickey Mickelson, baby, for hooking me up with another super special, awesome human all the way from Canada, folks. Canada, I was messing with you. It's Canada. And this wonderful lady right here, expert, folks, an expert. And this ain't one of those experts that hangs out at a place where we can get certification. They're expert forever. This is a real expert with a proven system to get you transformational results. This wonderful lady right here, she works with people who want to find their confidence so they can unlock their full potential. And she also works with entrepreneurs to find the clarity they need to make money living from their passion. Number one international best-selling author of 15 books on success, communication, wellness, and empowerment. Founder and CEO. You heard that right, folks. All capital letters CEO of Think Yourself Academy, offering leading edge online courses, one-on-one coaching, and business mentorship. And the past 30 years, even though she's been alive for 27, she's inspired over 100,000 audience members and empowered thousands of clients internationally to get rid of their negative self-talk. And she combines over 10 years of experience in human resources, 25 years of sales, and over 30 years in the fitness industry. So let's give it up for the 2007 Fitness Instructor of the Year for Canada, Miss NPT, Miss Nathalie Plamondon-Thomas. How you doing today, Nathalie?
Hey, Dom, I'm great. So happy to be on your show.
And I'm happy to have you. You're like one of the folks who like to call one of the heavyweights, like just like a heavyweight boxing match, like the main event, like she's freaking here, folks.
It's already been fun just in the intro of the show. So it's already been fun.
Yes, indeed. As with all introductions, I'm pretty sure I forgot like 5 different cavities. Mind filling in any things I may have missed about you, Nathalie?
There's a lot more than what's on my bio. There's a lot of mistakes. There's a lot of goofy parts. I feel like my bio makes me sound really good, but I'm a small town girl. Like I'm just, right. I'm French. I couldn't speak English very well. Like even like about 15 years ago, I remember got a phone call out of the blue. Somebody wanted to hire me to train their sales force, and they asked for my rate. I didn't have a corporate rate, so I go 250. So then they say, okay, so for 4 hours, there would be 1,000. But I made 250 for the whole thing, right? So I go, oh, yes, that's correct, $1,000. And when I hung up the phone, I should have been excited, but I felt like a fraud. I remember sitting in my office, hearing this nasty voice in my head telling me, you're not a real professional speaker. You don't deserve $1,000 paycheck for an afternoon. See, I had done that video, a speaker's video, you have 3 cameras, like one for the wide angle, one for the close up, and then one from the back to see the large audience, right? Mm-hmm. And the problem was when we recorded that video, there was only 20 people in the room. So we kept asking people to move from one section to another. So then we would put all the segments together. It would look like there was a large audience. But that video wasn't real. My made up corporate rate wasn't real. So I was sitting in my office that day thinking, this is not going to work. I'm just a fraud. And my voice was telling me, what, like, really? You want to be a speaker like in English? You don't even speak English. Like you want to write books in English? What's wrong with you? Right? Because, well, it's true, my English was really bad. I remember I was teaching yoga back in the days, and I was telling them at the end during the relaxation, I wanted my participants to relax their body, relax their face, relax their jaw, and I wanted them to put their tongue on the roof of their mouth. So I said, put your thong behind your tits. And then everybody started to laugh. I didn't know why, because my English was really bad. I don't know what I had said. So anyway, I know that the voice in my head was kind of right. My English was really bad, but I pushed through anyway. And that day in my office, I realized, you know what? All this negative self-talk this got to stop. So I decided that I would spend the next 10 years studying neuroscience and trying to figure out how to reprogram that voice in my head and how to change my negative self-talk. So I created this system. That's the system I shared in my 8 international #1 best-selling books. That's the system that's at the base of all my online courses. And today I work with people who, like me, had negative self-talk, and I teach them how to find that confidence so that we can make money living from our passion.
That's what I'm talking about. Put your thumb on your tits, son, man. Good times. Let me stop. Like, wait a second. Oh, no, that's right.
I know that's part of not speaking English as your first language. And I know that it hits home for a lot of people, because did you know that in Canada, 20% of people do not speak English at home. And in the States, it's 22%. So I know that not speaking English, where all the transactions happen in English, most, good transactions, if you want to be in business, a lot of things happen in English. And not speaking English as my first language was a huge barrier for me. It was affecting my own confidence. Like, people would look at me like I was stupid, and they were speaking slow to me to make sure I understand. And then it just made me feel so bad. But I know that for a lot of people, it is the case. Like, English is so weird. It's a weird language to learn. Like, have you ever heard of contronym? Contronyms are a word that can mean two different things at the same time. Like, when the alarm goes off in the morning, shouldn't it go on? And when you say she left, it means that she's gone. But if you left the book on the table, the book is not gone. The book is still there, because and don't get me started with the letter K. Like, this is such a useless letter. Like, why?
Yes.
Why? I just don't get it. So I know that the language barrier is a big deal. I know I had it. English is my third language. I speak Spanish. I learned to speak Spanish as a kid because my parents took me around the world, and they decided it was cool to live downtown Colombia or go to Venezuela or Dominican Republic, and then I would learn how to speak Spanish, speaking with the local, because we would do grocery shop and try to learn different cultures, right? So English came much later in my life, and it's not easy. It's really not easy to live in a different language and try to be taken. You're not speaking everybody else's language, right? So yeah, that was really affecting me.
Hey, but that just shows how intelligent you are as a person. Heck, even her episode goes live in a couple of days after the time of this recording. Adria Kaiser, she was basically being insulted her whole time in America because she came from Venezuela. They called her a stupid immigrant because she was still learning the English language. But those who don't realize, like you said, like, English is a strange language. It's a hard language to learn. I failed English classes in high school, and I wrote a book myself. So it's a hard language to learn. It's so hard to learn. It's a hard one to understand, especially if it's your second one and not your mother tongue. So that takes a high level of intelligence to actually do that, especially since it's your third language. So I believe that's polyglot swag for you. 3 languages.
Totally. Now, there's a lot of things that we don't know maybe about the brain and how fascinating it is. And as complicated as it can sound, when we are born, the brain has the capability to learn any language at all. So you can take a baby that was born in a certain country, bring it to a different one, and the baby will be able to learn a different language. And all these neurons, they start a strong connection. A synapse gets connected. You use this language, the more often it becomes strong and solid. And the brain is so powerful. So maybe I can share with you a few things about the brain. Often underestimate our capabilities, and that's where confidence comes from. So I'm a confidence expert. So I've tried to figure out how can we use the brain better? So let's talk about, there's so many parts that I love, but let's talk about the logical mind and the unconscious mind. So the logical mind can handle 5 to 9 things at a time. So that's cool. You can multitask. You can do a few things at once. Like that's why you can go grocery shopping and still be in a meeting in your earphones, and then keep your kid from falling off the cart at the same time, and still notice the dude in the back of the store smiling at the girl in blue in the seafood department. Like we can notice a whole bunch of things at the same time, right? But have you ever noticed, let's say you're driving to a new address. So it's beautiful day, it's sunny, windows are down, music is on, and it's a new address. So as you get closer, you slow down and you start to look at the numbers on the houses. Have you ever caught yourself, Don, having to lower the music on the radio?
Yep.
As you look at the numbers on the houses, why do we have to lower the music to be able to see the numbers better? Because when you have the foot on the brake and the foot on the accelerator, there's a red light ahead, the kid that's about to cross the street, the lady that will cut you off, there's the dude in the car beside you winking at you, gross. So when you add looking at the numbers on the houses, the music becomes the one too many. So somehow 5 to 9 pieces of information at a time is not that great after all. And you know what else is not so great about that logical mind is that 70% of our thoughts are negative. Research shows that we trash talk ourselves all the time. Like we don't walk around telling our friends, "Hey, you look fat in these jeans," or "Hey, you're starting your own business. It's never going to work. You're not good enough." But we say these things to ourselves. Like we wouldn't have any friends if we talk to them the same way we talk to ourselves. But we do that to ourselves all the time. This is ridiculous. So that logical mind is not that great after all. Like you're working really hard. Let's say you're building your business. You have your goal and you're working hard and you want to reach that goal, right? So you're working like crazy, and you have to post on social media. You have to open a Clubhouse account now, and you need your podcast. And then you need to take your kids to school and sport in between your meetings. And then you need to write your blog. And then there's so many things. You feel like you're getting further and further away from your dream life because you have zero life balance and you still live paycheck to paycheck. It is like you're trying to go to New York City, but you're in an aircraft that's flying to Los Angeles. Even if you work really, really, really hard, you have your goal. You're never going to get there if you stay in that aircraft. So how do you think that people come to me? What do they ask me? They say, "How do I get off that aircraft?" And I say, no, you should stay on the aircraft and talk to the pilot. Imagine how fast you will get there if you just talk to the pilot instead of getting off of it and walking back towards New York City, right? Like if you talk to the pilot and say, "Hey, let's change the address on the GPS, let's turn this plane around and let's go to New York," right? It's so much easier. So we have to talk to that pilot. And I call this pilot your personal assistant. So in your head, you have this personal assistant writing down everything that you say or think, and it makes it happen. But the problem is people wake up in the morning, they look at themselves in the mirror and they go, "I'm so tired. I'm so stressed out. I think I'm gaining weight." So then your personal assistant writes it down. Tired, stressed out, gaining weight, got this. Okay, tired. What can I do? Oh, I know. I'm going to keep her awake all night. She's going to be really tired in the morning. Check. Stressed out. Oh, I know. I'm going to make her delete an important appointment in her calendar by mistake. This is going to be really stressful. Check. Gaining weight. Oh, that's an easy one. I can certainly find a chocolate bar or something deep fried for her to eat today. Check. So your personal assistant is listening to everything that you say or think, and it makes it happen. So it's very, very important that we tell our personal assistant what we want, not what we don't want. Because my clients come to me all the time and they say, "Nathalie, I don't want to be stressed anymore. I don't want to rush everywhere. I don't want to be impatient with my kids, and I don't want to be broke." So their personal assistant hears stress, rush, impatient, broke. Got this. I'm going to make this happen. Right? Even if you say, "I don't want to." Like close your eyes for a second. Everybody's that's listening to this, close your eyes. Well, not if you're driving. If you're driving, because a lot of people listen to Dom's podcast when they're driving. So if you're driving, don't close your eyes. Okay. Everybody else, close your eyes. Now, let's close your eyes and now do not visualize Mickey Mouse wearing a yellow tuxedo standing on top of a pink Mercedes-Benz. Do not visualize Mickey Mouse wearing a yellow tuxedo standing on top of a pink Mercedes-Benz. You can reopen your eyes. Don, did you see it?
I saw that as well as a cactus too.
There you go. But the thing is, our brain, even if I said do not visualize, the brain needs to process the whole information before it can negate it. So somehow, even if you tell your brain, I don't want to be stressed, I don't want to rush everywhere, it's not going to work. It's like telling your painter that is painting your kitchen, and you're asking them, I would like you to paint my kitchen not blue. like he's not going to know what you want. And then when it's time to choose the paint, he's going to say, what color did she say again? Oh yeah, something about blue. Okay, got it. And then that's, so you have to tell your personal assistant what you want, not what you don't want, right?
Right. You can definitely say that again, because it's so true. It's so true indeed. And you mentioned something very powerful, is the fact that a brain has to think about it first in order to negate it. So that's really powerful right there, that folks need to really take on with themselves, like making sure that whatever you're thinking, like make sure you rearrange it properly so you can actually think the thoughts that you want, that eventually have the things that you want.
So I can give you a few tips in order to talk to that personal assistant. So what we're doing is that we want to change the address on the map, right? So you want to change the address on the GPS because it used to give you stressed, tired, stressed out, impatient, broke, right? So we want to change this. So I'm going to talk about, let's talk about affirmations first. So affirmations don't really work. And a lot of people are using affirmations, and I understand. However, affirmations don't really work if you don't believe them. It's not going to work to say, okay, look at yourself in the mirror and say, I am thin. It's not going to work to say, okay, put your hands on your hips and say, I am rich. Because your personal assistant is like, no, we're not. What are you doing? Like, this is not nonsense. You're not talking to me. We must be watching a vampire movie. Vampires don't exist. This is nonsense. She's not talking to me. So you want your personal assistant to pay attention to you. So here's the two-step technique. This is a technique you can do at a logical level. Now, in order to really, like in real life, if you want to change the address on a GPS, you push a button and you change the address. With your mind, it's a bit more complicated than that. Like it needs to happen at an unconscious level. So you can't just change yourself, your brain at a logical level. It's quite the undertaking. So that's what I do. I'm like a brain dentist, if you'd like. And yes, you can brush your teeth really, really well and floss and do everything right. And yet you still have to go to the dentist because they have special tools to remove all the unwanted stuff, like stuff gets stuck in our life, like on your teeth. And sometimes you have cavities. So it's not by brushing over your cavity very, very well with your toothbrush that you're going to get rid of the cavity. Like the dentist has special tools, and that's what I do. I help people get rid of their negative self-talk, bad habits, anger, fear, hurt, sadness, guilt, trauma, all the bad baggage that we're carrying that we don't need anymore. So that's what I do. But this two-step technique is kind of a good tool to get you started. It's like I'm giving you a very, very cool kind of toothpaste so that you are starting the process. And then it starts with repeating what you just heard in your head in the past. Okay. So let's say you hear yourself say, oh, I'm so stressed out. Wait, personal assistant, don't write that down. This is no, I don't want to say I'm stressed out. No, wait. I used to be stressed out. So you repeat it in the past. Wait, I used to be stressed out, or I'm so all over the place. I used to be all over the place, or I used to be bad with technology. Because a lot of people are saying that right now, right? I'm so bad with technology. Wait, I used to be bad with technology. So your personal assistant listens to this, and then it says, oh yeah, you're talking to me. I got that on my list, actually, bad with technology or stressed out. Yeah, you're talking to me. So do you want me to write that down? And then you say, no. I used to be stressed out. So, we used to be. So why are we talking about this in the past? Are we done with this? Do you want me to delete that, or what's the deal? Do I keep that on the list? So immediately you follow up with, I am willing to learn, or I'm in the process of, okay? So I used to be stressed out. Now I'm willing to learn how to be more calm. Now I'm in the process of creating a balanced life for myself. I used to think I was bad with technology. Now I'm willing to figure out where I have to click on Zoom to continue to have a business online, because this is the way right now. So that's how you use the two-step technique. So you start with, I used to, whatever negative crap you tell yourself when you're trash talking yourself, I'm not good enough. I used to think I was not good enough. Now I'm willing to learn. I'm in the process of becoming more confident. So you have to use the two-step technique so that progressively you are starting to believe, and your personal assistant is actually listening to what you have to say. Does that make sense?
It makes perfect sense indeed. Makes perfect sense indeed, especially with the fact that, like, hey, I'm really trying to learn this thing and focusing on making sure that, hey, I used to be bad at technology. I used to be bad at this, as opposed to I'm like bad at technology. Like, it's so true, and it's so apropos for nowadays, where there's still folks out there where it's like, oh God, no, I don't know how to want to go on Zoom. It's scary, yeah. But now, hey, definitely got to be willing to learn. Definitely got to be willing to learn. Heck, that's even in lines with having a growth mindset, which I'm sure that you're all about.
100%. 100%. There's so many people. And it feels like the voice right now during the pandemic is even louder, isn't it? Like a lot of people have the imposter syndrome, right? Or financially, it's not been easy for a lot of people. Like a lot of people lost their job. And the finance part, I used to have a huge limiting belief about money myself. And I sold a business when I was in my 20s. Good sized business, made a lot of money. I was co-owner in a printing business and made the kind of money that I would not really have to work really hard for the rest of my life. You know what I mean? 2 years later, where was this money? Gone. I'm not very proud of this, but I was good at making money, but I was much better at spending it because I had this limiting belief that when you make more money, you spend more money. So you always live paycheck to paycheck. And then I realized this is holding me back. Why am I believing this? This is a big limiting belief. Who started this anyway? Everybody says that. But really, when you think about it, when you make more money, you have more money. That's it. That's what we should believe. You know, like it didn't make sense. And it's only when I changed my own limiting belief about money, like, oh, money doesn't grow on tree. You have to work hard for your money, and money is scarce, and like all that stuff that I used to believe. I needed to change all that, because unless you change your limiting belief, you're never going to be able to make money. Well, in my case, I was making money, but it was gone as soon, like I was a shopaholic and everything. And my personal assistant kept writing it down. Okay, as soon as she has money, I need to start spending it because that's what she wants, right? Like all the things that we start to believe, and we trash talk ourselves, and it's loaded with lots of powerful emotion, and we feel defeated. I remember one of my biggest downfall, because you've probably heard that too. Oh, chips are my downfall, right? Or, well, in my case, donuts were my downfall, like big times. And when I was at the printing, we had 50 staff, so 3 times a week I would stop at the donut shop and I would buy 3 dozens of donuts for the staff. But then I would show up at work and there would be 3 donuts missing from the boxes. And people would look at me and say, oh yeah, well, yeah, I was eating donuts for breakfast in my car, like 2 or 3, but no judging. I'm sure you've done that too, eating donuts.
Yeah.
And it was ridiculous. So I needed to change my strategy because I didn't like the way people would look at me in the staff room when I would show up with the donuts with missing donuts in them. So I started to buy 3 donuts individually so that the box would be intact when I would get to work. And then when people would ask, oh, Nathalie, you're not having any? Oh, no, I'm good. I already had 3 in the car separately in a little bag. It was so bad. I had so much shame about donuts. And I thought, okay, this is ridiculous. I need to stop this bad habit. So, and let's remember, this is like 15 years ago. So I started to tape the boxes and put them in the trunk because I'm like, okay, like if I, like there's no way, right? That's gonna work. Do you think it worked? No. I had to stop on the side of the highway on a snow day to eat donuts. It was just ridiculous that I could go in my trunk. So that's when I realized that I was telling my personal assistant that donuts were my downfall. I kept telling my personal assistant that I had to not be able to resist them. So we have to realize, and why am I talking about donuts anyway? Donuts are so innocent, right? It's just a little donut. But you know the damage that it can have on your health if somebody eats lots of donut every day. It's ridiculous, the impact that it can have. And now let's talk about the impact of our own negative self-talk. Oh, who cares if once in a while I tell myself that I'm not good enough? But no, because we have between 50 and 80,000 thoughts per day. 50 and 80,000 thoughts per day. And 70% of these thoughts are negative. This is over 31 negative thoughts per minute. It is insane the amount of trash talking that we do. So you know the impact of one donut a day on somebody's health? Well, imagine the impact of 31 negative thoughts per minute can have on somebody's mindset, can have on somebody's confidence. So we have to start talking to ourselves differently. And it's very important. So use that two-step technique and start talking to your personal assistant, because it does make a huge, huge difference. That negative self-talk, man, it's not helping us.
Yeah, exactly. Your personal assistant was like, hey, if I go inside the road and get this donut out of the trunk, people think I'm getting a spare tire. It'll be fine. It's like it's just a smaller version of one.
I was pretending that I needed something else in the trunk, and then I was kind of gosh, so bad. The stuff I've done. Yeah, I know. My bio is a lot more impressive than all the ridiculous stuff. Maybe we should have stopped there. Maybe in the editing, you can remove all that.
No way.
Just read the bio so that people think I'm just an amazing person. Well, that's the thing. We're all in the same boat. Like we all, if we go back to the dentist analogy, we all eat food and food gets stuck. Like you've never told one of your friends, what? You have to go to the dentist? Oh, gross. Oh no, because we all go to the dentist. It's normal. We eat food and food gets stuck and it's perfectly fine. Like we have to feel confident about it. We have to say, hey, this is fine. Like we are going through life, and every information that comes into our life, every powerful event that comes into our life, these powerful emotions like anger, fear, hurt, sadness, guilt, these are powerful emotions. They're not designed to tick you off. They're designed to teach you a lesson. They're designed to bring you a gift, bring you a positive learning. That's the reason why they exist, right? So it's not because somehow the universe is trying to punish you and makes you feel afraid or angry or sad, or this whole, I like to give the analogy of a delivery truck. Okay. So these powerful emotion, it's like there's a delivery truck in your driveway and it's teaching you a lesson. So it's bringing a positive learning, a package to you. But the problem is we don't open the package. So we feel so discouraged and we are in panic mode. And you're very often in front of your coworkers. So then you pretend that the truck is not there, and then you don't open the door, and then you smile. You say, oh yeah, everything's good. Everything's fine. Then you get home at night and then your daughter is like, hey, how are you doing, mommy? Is everything okay? Oh yeah, mommy's fine. Everything's good. Oh, everything's fine. It's going to be all right. No problem. Everything's good. So then the truck stays in the driveway because we don't open the door. But unlike nowadays the UPS truck come and they just throw the package there. They don't in this analogy. This truck stays in your driveway, and then another truck comes in, and another truck comes in, and then we are in prefrontal cortex overload. There's so many powerful emotions there, and the truck stays in the driveway. The only way the truck will leave, the only way that powerful emotion, that sadness, that anxiety will go, is if you open the door for the package. You have to figure out, what am I learning? I'm growing right now, and I'm going to get to the next level of my life, because the more stuff happens to you, the higher you get to climb. There are opportunities for you to grow. So instead of feeling like, oh, I'm receiving a package, I'm panicking, you have to say, oh, I'm receiving a package. Cool. I'm excited, because your brain doesn't know the difference between sadness, anxiety, and excitement. So if you decide, because it's all created equal in the prefrontal cortex, there's no good emotion and bad emotion. So if you decide that it's anxiety, your brain will send 1,400 chemicals through your bloodstream and make you slow down, send cortisol and that kind of polluting chemicals that will slow you down because your heart is beating too fast right now. That is going to slow you down and keep you stuck. If you decide that it's excitement, your brain will send you feel-good chemicals, dopamine, oxytocin, serotonin, and endorphins, depending if you're with people, if you're moving or not. Like they all have a different way of being generated through your bloodstream. But your brain, if you decide that it's something cool, you decide that you're excited, then your brain will send feel-good chemicals that will support you and help you go through this powerful emotion and help you go through this event. So next time something happens, you want to take it as, ooh, I'm receiving a package. This is cool. I'm going to grow. I'm going to the next level of my learning journey. This is good. So, okay, I'm afraid. I feel uncomfortable with this. I don't know how to present on a virtual platform, or I don't know. I've never done this before. I have never done that. And at the end of the day, if you feel excited about the opportunity to learn, to grow to the next level, as soon as you've opened the package and say, what am I going to learn? Oh, well, I guess I'm going to learn to be more comfortable on Zoom. And I bet you that a year later now, a lot more people are comfortable online. A lot more people are comfortable in front of cameras because now we have gotten used to it, right? So the goal is to open your package and say, hey, there's a truck in my driveway. And instead of feeling overwhelmed or sad or afraid, feel excited and confident and say, okay, it is what it is. I'm going to get better at something. What is my learning? What am I going to learn? And as soon as you do that, the truck is going to leave your driveway, because its only purpose is to deliver that package and get the hell out of there. So all the trucks are going to go. Like, you can do that one by one when the trucks are in your driveway. So what I do with my clients is that I take care of all the old trucks, because sometimes people have an entire parking lot of 500 different trucks, but they've been carrying this stuff of all unopened packages for years. So it's very important that we work with all these powerful emotion and get rid of that stuff that's no longer serving us.
Amen to that. Amen to that. So if you have a fleet of delivery trucks in your mind, Nathalie will help you get rid of them and open the packages and move on into your greatness, because you've been slacking off for too long on that.
Exactly.
Oh my goodness. So with all this wonderful knowledge that you've been dropping on these wonderful folks, and you've been on multiple interviews over these past few years, is there a question that you wish you'd be received or asked more often?
A lot of people ask me, all right, that's easy for you, but for me, it's not that easy because I'm just not that smart, or I've got lots of obstacles. There's lots of things holding me back, And honestly, what I want to say is your predispositions are great. And too often in our society, especially here in good countries like Canada, United States, As soon as we hit an obstacle, we turn around. Like, let's say you come back from work one night, you're driving and there's a tree blocking the road. Most people would turn around and go, well, all right, there's a tree blocking the road. So, okay, I'm going to turn around and I guess I'm never going to go home again. Oh my gosh, I'll miss my kids and my husband. I'll never see them again. I'll have to go buy a new home and new furniture. No way, right? Like, if it was to happen, you would park the car and walk home, or you would drive around, find a new route, or grab a chainsaw, cut the tree. There's no obstacle that would keep you from, like, that would make you abandon your family and your home, right? But we do that in life all the time. You want to start your business. You have this dream on the back burner. And then there's an obstacle and you say, nah, that's not for me. No, doesn't matter, right? But we have to keep going, because right now I'm talking about something a lot more important than a tree blocking the road and about your home. I'm talking about you. You only have one life. Like that dream you have on the back burner is going to keep creeping back forward, because that's what you're supposed to do. You're supposed to do this. That's your gift. That's why you're here. Have you ever seen an infant that's trying to walk for the first time that ever said, nah, that's not for me? Doesn't matter. Right? So don't let any obstacle say, nah, that's not for me. Yes, your life is for you. Or, nah, doesn't matter. Yes, you matter. We have so much to learn from children. I do some work in Haiti and at an orphanage. And I don't have to tell you that Haiti is one of the poorest countries in the world. And somehow, one night, we're sitting in the courtyard. So this picture was taken at lunchtime. So at lunch, they get one scoop of rice. And I have seen these kids eat half of that one scoop of rice that they're given for lunch and climb over the fence to give the other half to their folks, their parents that are sitting on the outside of the school fence, because food is scarce. So, okay, their predisposition, they don't have anything, okay? So we're sitting one night and I'm teaching them the circle of excellence. So, like, you draw a circle on the floor when you don't feel so good, you walk in the circle, you power pose, and you start feeling better, right? So Angelina, one of the little girls, she comes to me and she says, because they love to learn. They're so attentive. They love to learn. So she said, okay, so when again do we step in the circle? I said, well, when you don't feel good, when you're not happy. So she thinks about it. Aren't we happy all the time? So I'm like, and I'm just about to cry. I don't know what to say. And I go, you know what? You guys don't need this here. You're fine. This is just a technique for us in Canada. When we're not happy, we do this. Yeah, I said that, not my proudest moment. So Jouvencely, one of the twin brothers, comes to me, grabs my hand, and he says, you're not happy in Canada? You have everything in Canada. So by this time, I'm bawling. So he gives me a big hug to console me, and all the kids jump on me to hug me and console me, because poor me, I'm not happy in Canada. So if these little human beings that have nothing can figure it out and can be happy all the time, I think we got this. I think we're going to be okay. I really do. So remember to talk to your personal assistant. And if there's any old stuff that's there that needs to happen, just feel free to reach out. We'll have a virtual coffee and then we'll see how it can help you get rid of the rest. So go to thinkyourself.com/schedule. We can just have a chat and see how I can help you. It'd be my pleasure. But in the meantime, talk to your personal assistant. I also have a resource that you can download. I gave you one trick today. I gave you the 2-step technique you can use. There's 14 more on this document. It's called the confidence guide. So the Think Yourself Confident Guide. So go to thinkyourself.com/confidence guide to download this guide. So there's 15 more tips that you can download in order to feel confident and lead the world, right?
Oh, yeah, that's right. So 15 tips, you get 15 pack abs. That's what I'm talking about. You'll be a genetic freak. That's right.
Exactly.
That's what I'm talking about, indeed. That's what I'm talking about, indeed. And for those listening on audio, you should definitely go to the YouTube page and check out the video because Natalie's been dropping some fabulous images in the background that you definitely should check out. And plus, that pretty smile she got too. That's always fun to check out too. So definitely check that out on the video version too. So we're coming down to the magical question that every guest gets to receive. And that is if you're to wake up tomorrow and you're 25 again, but this time in the current year of 2021 with all of your knowledge and experience, what advice would you give to yourself?
If I was 25 again, what advice would I give to myself? Okay. I know that because of the negative self-talk that held me back for so long, the advice that it would give me is to trust myself, is to tell myself that I am awesome and that I have a brain and I can tap into the power of the brain anytime. And I can use that personal assistant to get so much stuff done for me as I'm living my life, because your unconscious mind can handle 2.3 million pieces of information every second. Remember that logical mind, 5 to 9. Unconscious mind, 2.3 million pieces of information every second. So I would give a lot more tasks to my personal assistant to do in the background and get ready for me every time every article I wrote, every blog post, every book I've written. I would have given that to my personal assistant to do for me in the background while I was living my life. So then when I get in front of the keyboard, the book would be ready for me to just type it. We need to use our mind more. We need to use our powerful, the most complex structure in the universe, our brain. And that's the advice I would give myself, definitely.
I love that advice because it's so darn true. We don't tap into the power of our minds enough as it is. Even with all this wonderful talk out here about mindset and entrepreneurial space, we haven't even really tapped into it yet. There's still so much precious metals to excavate out of our minds. Like it, there's no telling what we could actually do if we even tapped into just 5% of it. If we even get to 5% of it.
100%.
Yes, indeed. Yes, indeed. Well, enjoyed this powerful conversation, indeed. So there you have it, folks. Head over to Think Yourself Academy. That's right. Join that academy. The dean herself, the good Dr. P herself. She's in the house. She'll help you out, whether it's presenting with technology, being the best fit self, to think yourself thin and to become thin. You'll get to do both, folks. You'll definitely get to do both. So you'll have your cake and eat it too, metaphorically speaking.
Absolutely.
So any thoughts before we close up the recording shop?
That was super fun. Thank you. Thank you so much for having me, Dom. I'm really glad that our paths have crossed. That was really, really fun. And then I'm looking forward to stay connected and staying in touch.
This is your host, Dom Brightman. Hope you enjoyed what you just heard. And if you really did, do me a solid and leave a review if you're listening on Apple Podcasts, on YouTube, wherever you're listening to. And subscribe to hear more because more is coming your way to advance you further than before.